A quote that people hear often is, "It's not about the destination, it's about the journey." It's a simple quote that speaks a lot about how valuable the memories and experience we gathered is more important than the end. With anime and manga, the end can leave some to be desired, but what we will remember are the friends, the adventure, and the memories that we made watching them. But in the real world, sometimes that journey is cut off too soon. One of the biggest fears that any manga reader has is the fear that their favorite manga will suddenly get cancelled. This fear is something that has existed since the early days of manga and has continued to this very day. The industry has always been known for being competitive, as each series that comes out is always trying to outdo the last. But with so much coming out, it's inevitable that some are going to get axed. The company most notorious for this is Shonen Jump, with the average being 11 cancellations per year. It's a problem that many in the fandom know about, as the company has a habit of cancelling them based on initial sales rather than how good the story is. Mangas that don't meet their criteria can get axed before they even reach 19 chapters. Shonen Jump has always axed new titles regardless of quality. Their main metric is that they are popular with their core audience, Japanese consumers. While this idea is outdated to some, for them it's something that has worked since they first opened up, and it's not something that they intend to change. Coupled with how competitive the industry is, it just goes to show how important it is to have your manga stand out. To them, it's just business. Recently, however, there was an announcement for a new anime that has caught a lot of attention. It's not because the author is well known or because the manga was super popular, but rather this attention is because the manga that it's based on was axed almost 9 years ago. Debuting back in 2016, Black Torch was published on Weekly Shonen Jump. Before its cancellation, the manga had released 5 volumes and was set to have a US release as well. Before this video, I've never heard of this manga or any of the author's previous works, so I had to do some research on both of them. After doing some digging and cracking some cold ones, it became a bit more clear as to why it got an anime. I think. To be honest, I'm still not sure after doing my research. But first, let's talk about the story itself. The manga is about a boy named Jiro Azuma that's able to talk to animals and is secretly a ninja. On his way home from school, he finds an injured cat named Rago, and it's here that he's introduced to the Mononoke. They're essentially monsters, spirits, or demons that have existed since ancient times and have blended in with human society. Rago himself is one of the strongest Mononoke and was recently ambushed by a group of them after refusing to lend them his powers. Jiro believes him and wants to help, but Rago doesn't want to have Jiro involved with him. He decides to leave at night but is attacked by another Mononoke. Being the hot-headed protagonist he is, Jiro goes to help him and gets killed in the process.
Know your fucking place, trash!
Feeling guilty for his death, Rago gives his power to Jiro and revives him, making him half human, half Mononoke. They win the fight and are captured by the Bureau of Espionage. Now, if this opening feels very similar to a certain popular manga that deals with spirits, monsters, and demons, then I say you're absolutely wrong and that you're crazy.
You are my special.
This manga draws a lot of inspiration from Bleach and other shonen series with its concept and ideas, while also incorporating elements from Japanese history and mythology. This might be a hot take, but I kind of think the series could have been... While this manga did come out first, I couldn't help but notice the parallels between the two. Sure, the latter did have better ideas and themes, but all in all, they both had the same idea. One just did it better than the other. During my reading, I did have fun with the story and I enjoyed how visually cool the fights and moments were. I just wish the story wasn't so rushed. In just one chapter, I got to learn about all the characters' backstories, motivation, and see how they were able to overcome it. Not to mention, I also got to find out who exactly the main bad guy is and how he's connected to Rago. This chapter could have easily been 2 to 3 whole arcs for the manga, but instead it's shoved into one entire chapter and it just feels like a wasted opportunity. The ending itself left a lot to be desired since the build up to it was rushed as well. This was a problem that a lot of readers have talked about before and I can see where they are coming from. I'm not going to hold it against him too much since I believe he was told that his manga was going to end and he was like, alright, I need to wrap this up as fast as possible. And so he just shoved everything he could into the final chapters while leaving things up to our interpretation. What sucks about this is that I could see which plot points he was trying to build up and they would have been cool to see. Despite its short life, the manga did become popular overseas, mainly in the West and France specifically. This is mostly thanks to his current work, Heartgear, being well received by the Western audience. As for why it's popular in France, I can't really say since I'm not French, nor do I know anybody French. If you're from France, tell me why in the comments down below. So with the support of the fans, the unfinished storyline, Viz Media caved in and made the series into an anime because of how supportive and attentive they are.
You serious?
Bruh.
I'll be honest, the reason behind it getting an anime is still pretty unclear. From what I could find, the reason why it got chosen is because of its popularity in the West. But even this reason is kind of unsatisfying. To a lot of people, there are a lot of mangas out there that have been cancelled and deserve a second chance. It's also kind of crazy that the author himself didn't even know that his own work was going to get an anime. So to have this come out without a clear reason feels a bit weird for the most part, but it's still a start for what could be a potential resurgence for these short-lived series. So this begs the question, why was it cancelled? The answer is more obvious than you think. It's because the manga did badly in sales. Despite how interesting it is, the manga still feels like a generic shonen. It doesn't do anything new or subvert our expectations, or find any ideas that have already been done before. It had a potential, sure, but I don't think people would have stuck around for it. It also doesn't help that the author wanted to work on his new series Heart Gear more than Black Torch. There were a couple of moments that I enjoyed in the manga, while the rest I just didn't really care for. The initial characters themselves, I couldn't latch on since I found them pretty boring for the most part. This isn't because of how rushed the story is either. Their first impressions were pretty lackluster and I didn't really care about them. Even when their sad backstories were revealed, I was just like, oh, that's it? Alright then. Jiro as a main character is somewhat cool since he's a ninja and his whole shtick is that he can talk to animals. I just wish we saw more of him being a ninja. In every fight he gets in, he gets folded instantly and needs Rago's power to carry him. Like, I feel like the author could have been more creative with his fight since he's a literal ninja and he can talk to animals. The latter part being kind of useless in battle, I think, but the first part, like, has he not read Naruto? Like, hello? But I digress. For the rest of the series, he doesn't use them and it feels like the author just forgot about it ever since he got demon powers. As a main character, his presence doesn't really do anything for the story. He doesn't have any chemistry with the other characters and they don't feel like a proper team. Instead, they just feel like three people stuck doing a project together. As boring as they were, they at least had goals and motivations for wanting to join the team. Jiro was just there because he got that demon cat in him. He doesn't have any other reason besides wanting to help people and get stronger from it. It's a concept that's been done to death, and with stories where main characters want to hunt magical beasts, get women, and find their balls, it's gonna be hard to stand out if that's all they got. His lore in the last pages of the final chapter did make his character a bit more interesting, and I'm hoping the anime can make something out of it. The only character I found interesting was the antagonist since his backstory was pretty cool and philosophical on a certain level. His motivation was pretty generic, but at least he was interesting enough to make me like him. Visually, the manga was amazing. The art really captured the fights and important moments that at times, it really surprised me just how good it got. I hear his other work, Heart Gear, has a lot more amazing art, and based on what my friends say, I'm excited to give it a read. And with that, we reached the end of the video. While the manga wasn't the best, I really do hope the anime gives it the second chance that it deserves, since the manga did have a lot of interesting ideas that it was trying to build up. I do hope it goes in a different direction than the manga, and surprises us with new storylines and ideas. Will I watch it? Maybe? I mean, the trailer looked good, so I guess I'll give it a try, but I'm not going to keep my expectations high, since I remember the last time an anime did work on its own. If this manga was able to get a second chance, then hopefully it'll open up the door to other cancelled works in the making. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what series you think deserves a second chance. I would love to check them out and hopefully make a video on them soon. With that said, I need to get ready for my trip to Japan, so stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading till I'm back.